Dear children, you are going to hear a beautiful star story, The Leaky Bucket. In a beautiful village, there lived a young boy named Tony and his father, a poor woodcutter. Though they had very little, they lived a simple and happy life together. Sadly, Tony's mother had passed away when he was very young. Every day, Tony's father worked hard in the forest, cutting wood to earn money and provide for his son. He spent long hours working under the hot sun so that Tony could have a better future. However, Tony was a lazy boy. He rarely attended school regularly, and even when he did, he paid little attention in class. He hardly ever completed his homework and spent most of his time playing with his friends. One day, Tony's class teacher called his father to the school. When the woodcutter arrived, the teacher said, "Your son is very careless about his studies. He does not pay attention in class and he has failed all of his examinations." Tony's father felt disappointed, but Tony did not seem to care. He continued wasting his time and ignored his studies. A few days later, Tony asked his father, "Daddy, why do I always fail in all my subjects, even when I try to study?" His father realized that Tony needed to learn an important lesson. Instead of scolding him, he decided to teach him in a practical way. The next morning, the father pretended to be sick. "Son," he said, "I'm not feeling well today. Could you please water the garden for me?" Tony agreed. His father handed him a bucket and asked him to bring water from the well to the garden. But what Tony didn't notice was that the bucket had many tiny holes in it. Tony filled the bucket with water and carried it to the garden. However, before he could reach the plants, most of the water had leaked out through the holes. He tried again and again. For 3 long hours, Tony carried water back and forth, but he could not properly water even a single tree. Exhausted, he returned home and said, "Daddy, I am so tired. I couldn't even water one tree. I don't know how you manage this work every day." The father smiled and said, "Try once more, son." Tony went back and worked for several more hours, yet once again he failed. Finally, frustrated and confused, he returned and asked Daddy, "Why can't I do this while you can?" His father gently asked him, "My dear son, did you notice the holes in the bucket?" Tony looked closely and replied, "No, Daddy, I didn't." The father showed him the bucket and said, "If there are holes in the bucket, how can the water remain inside until you reach the tree? No matter how hard you work, your effort will be wasted because the water keeps leaking away." Then he realized, "Tony, your life is just like this bucket. Your laziness, carelessness, and lack of discipline are the holes. Even when you try to study, you don't pay full attention. Because of these bad habits, all your efforts leak away before they can bring success." Tony finally understood. He realized that the problem was not his intelligence. The problem was his careless attitude. From that day forward, Tony changed himself. He became responsible and disciplined. He attended school regularly, completed his homework on time, and used his time wisely. As the months passed, his grades improved, and he became one of the best students in his class. Tony had learned a lesson he could never forget. Moral of the story: carelessness and laziness can waste all your efforts and time. Time is precious. Use it wisely. Stay disciplined, and success will surely follow. Dear children, if you like this story, like it, share it, and subscribe it. Thank you.